everybody. How are you today? We've got a gorgeous day going here in Pennsylvania, United States. It's starting to warm up, the snow's melting, and that's pretty awesome. Although my snowdrops are still impacted and I haven't seen them yet, but I have seen other people's. So yay! That brings such a great new energy with it, doesn't it? Oh. And yet, I know there will be a couple more storms because it always happens that way in March. So I'm just chatting up a little bit, waiting to make sure that I am live. Just double checking here. I'm trying a new technology this week. It was a little complex last week. If you remember, all my technology kind of fell by the wayside. But you know what? This is life. When you're doing something new, things are going to get thrown up in front of you, obstacles, and it just determines how much you want to do this new thing. What is your resolve? You know, how resolved are you? And I've had it happen over and over and over again, and I just have to laugh at it. So last week I laughed, but I did deliver a kind of grainy and audio choppy talk live, and I can't even apologize for it because I know what it is, and I'm doing the best I can do. So this week we have a whole new setup, and I'm hoping it works better. If you don't know, my name's Patricia Walsh-Collins. I live along the Delaware River in Pennsylvania in the United States. I'm an educator. I've been an educator for 28 years, so I'm working on 3 decades. It makes me laugh. Just makes me laugh. But I worked in the schools for the majority of that time, and for the last 7 years, I've been working in a nonprofit that I created called Earth School. And it really is the transition between working in an institutionalized education system and creating the new path. So this Facebook group here, Sensitive Soul, is part of the new path. I'm offering an online course for kids, for sensitive kids. I'm launching it later this month. And this Facebook group is part of that approach, in that this group is for adults, Sensitive Soul. The subtitle is in support of sensitive souls of the young. And to my way of thinking, everything we do as adults models to kids. And the more informed we are, the more helpful we can be to children. The more informed we are through our own life experiences and that of others in changing times, which we are, the more helpful we'll be to kids. When I was growing up as a sensitive, and it was a long time ago, more than 3 decades ago, let's say twice, and it was difficult. There were a lot of experiences. I mean, had I known, times were different, the world was different, expectations were different, and I was different. And so it just would have made life a lot easier for me if I had the knowledge that I was okay, really. My mother, I think I said this last week, my mother used to always say, "Patty, you're too sensitive." And it confounded me. I could never understand what that meant, because I thought sensitivity was a good thing. And how could you be too? But the truth of it is, being too something made me feel less than. I'm going to say that one again. Being too much of something made me feel less than. And that carried out through my life. Just because you weren't received in the same way Your thoughts, your actions, your dreams were not received in the same way as others, and you weren't understood. And feeling like you weren't understood confuses you. Right down to my face. Right down to my face. I remember people always looking at me as a kid, like when we were hanging out in the mall, which wasn't a big deal, but I'd go there with my sisters and friends, and people would say, "Are you mad? You look mad." And maybe I have that kind of resting face. I don't think I really do, but I think I was walking around like this because for some reason people would look at me in a way that confused me. And so I was not mad, but I was confused. And I was confused a good bit of my life. A good bit of my life. We don't want that for kids. The truth is, that was way back in the 1950s, 60s, 70s. And there have been so many sensitive souls coming to the earth since then. There are waves of them coming. And they have come to help with this transition, to help with the transformation of humanity through sharing their gifts. But the reality is that they're coming into a world that has yet to transform. Our systems are not transformed. In fact, our systems are just breaking down. This pandemic and, actually the last few years, we're seeing a lot of things breaking down. And, in my thoughts, that's a good thing. As painful as it is, it's a good thing because they don't really work. This is why I ended up working at Earth School, or creating Earth School. Even though I was in a beautiful private school that I had a lot of autonomy, I just, I couldn't do it anymore. It felt too tight for me. I felt like the institution of a school and the expectation that comes with that holds you too tight. So bit by bit, I spent more time outside with my kids than inside. And I brought in the singing bowls and meditation practices and breath work. And before you know it, it just kind of expanded beyond the boundaries of the school. I got some of those things embedded in the school, which is awesome, but I had to go. So I went. And I didn't even know what Earth School was. I didn't know it was coming. It was a major leap of faith. I mean, I just jumped out, let go of my secure job. But 6 months later, Earth School came to me. The idea of Earth School came to me. I'm 7 years into it now, and it's been a lovely path, not always easy at all, and lots of struggles. But again, these obstacles that get in your way are there to confirm your resolve. And I am resolved to serve children, sensitive children, in a way that I myself was not served. So this group, you are not those kids, but you may be those kids. And you may have those kids, and you may be grandparents to those kids, or you may be teaching those kids. Any deeper understanding of one's inner life helps everybody. Any work that you do for yourself ripples out and contributes to the collective healing. And, that's what it is. It's a healing. So, sensitive soul is here for everybody. We come together on Thursdays at 4 o'clock, where I will bring up a topic. I'm really thinking seriously about a Zoom for next week. Next week, in my mind, marks the 1 year mark of the pandemic, and I think I'm going to do that, where we could have more interaction. I think it would be meaningful. If you're interested in that, send me your email. If I don't already have it, send me your email and I'll blast it out, because you're going to have to receive the invitation. Okay, so I got to check my notes. I do have notes. Okay, so I do want to just recap a little bit about intuition from last week. We talked about intuition. I offered a little practice, a breathing practice. When I started teaching, I started in a Montessori school, and I started my kids. We kind of started at the same time in a Montessori school, and I totally love Montessori schools because they are sensorial. They help children know the world through their 5 senses, and you can't replace that. That's just phenomenal work. I continue to love Montessori. But as with everything, that was years ago, and I feel we need to go deeper. I feel we need to go deeper in the education of our kids. I believe that the intuitive sense, the 6th sense of intuition and perception, needs to be incorporated into the education system. Now, some schools, like the one that I worked at, does that to a degree. But I think we got to go deeper. Seriously, educate the spiritual intelligence of children. And it's not religion. Do not confuse it with religion. And I'm going to do a Facebook Live on that, religion and spirituality, because it needs to be demystified. I think that's it. Yeah. So, so working with the intuition, the voice of the universe, the life force energy, creator, God, your inner knowing, whatever you want to call it. I tend to think of it as the life in capital L. I was introduced to that perception in the rainforest of Ecuador, which you will hear me refer to quite a bit because I spent a lot of time there, have a sweet, loving family and community there, and just learned a lot. That's where my spiritual awakening happened, and it informed much of the path that I chose to go down. So the life that we are a part of, I see it as this pulsing heartbeat of creativity, of creation. It's beyond the human body. It's beyond the planet Earth. It's beyond the universe. It is galactic. I don't know how far it goes. Never been there, although I have. I have in my soul. My soul has been there. And we come from that place. We come from that place as a soul. We come to this planet Earth and are placed in these human forms for a different kind of experience. And it's kind of a confounding experience. We don't come here to just sit and rest. We come here to figure things out. We come here to try and reconcile the duality of being spirit, being a soul, in a human form. And the human form comes with all these constructs that we've created, all these systems and ways of being that we've created for hundreds and thousands of years, till we have now reached this point, this transformational point in history on planet Earth for humanity, where we're going to change it. We're going to transform it from the doing more into the being, from the fear deeply based in love, to really acknowledge and reconnect to our spiritual lives, to our spirits, to live from our soul's purpose rather than a constructed expectation, trajectory of a society. To live from the place that to the wholeness of who we really are. To the wholeness of who we really are. So, having said that, being connected to the universe, to the life, is of the utmost importance. And that's where intuition, that is the voice. I offered a breathing practice because breath work is a great vehicle. It is a really pretty direct vehicle into the stillness where intuition lies. I offered the 4-7-8 practice where you breathe in for the count of 4, hold for the count of 7, and exhale for the count of 8. Deepening your breath each time, focusing and deepening on your breath. And it brings you to a place of stillness, calm, repose. And that's where the voice is. That's where the wisdom is. That's where the gateway is that opens up. I also offered my take on that as I switch it to 7-4-8. I like a longer inhale from deep through the nose, hold it for 4, exhale through the mouth. Deep, deep. It's not easy to do. And it's funny that we have to be taught how to breathe, truly, when we do it every second that we're here on planet Earth. But some things we need to learn and really kind of tune into. That's one of them. So, so my cousin from Ireland was here, which I was thrilled about, and she sent a message, and she said she does 8-8-8 breathing. Holy mackerel. She's got lungs. And, the point is that you learn these things, as with everything. In these transformational times, the world's kind of noisy. I'm noisy right now, talking to you and giving you my take on things. But you do wise to take what's offered and make it your own. Make it your own. The whole idea of meditation can be daunting. Some of you may meditate. Some of you may have a problem meditating. I've always had it's not a problem, but kind of another way of seeing it. I go for stillness. I go for stillness of mind, body, and spirit. I go for releasing the doing in favor of the being. So that's where the breath really comes in. And that's when intuition is most easily accessed, I believe. And it's a practice. The more you do it, the more easily accessible it is to you. I mean, I actually walk around here with this voice all the time. You could call me crazy, but I'm not. I hear it. I hear it all the time in big and small ways. But that doesn't mean I don't take the time out every day to say hello and show gratitude, in my stillness, my /meditation. Again, whatever you want to call it. But it is letting go of the doing, of being busy, of talking, of even thinking, and just being still. It could be 5 minutes a day, seriously. Start with 5 minutes a day. You can afford that. And the other thing is, I did received a question after the Facebook Live, and somebody wanted to know, how do you know you're hearing the voice? How do you know that's the voice of intuition? Are there particular signals? Oh yeah, there sure are. And again, it's making it your own. For me, I hear the words. And it's kind of cool because the way I hear it, it sounds like me, but a little more poetic. It's very quick. If I shoot out a message or a thought or ask a question, it comes back quickly. And maybe that's a practice, but it sounds like me, but more poetic than me. I also, at different times, depending on what the message is, if it's deep reaching into my soul, if it's not just, there are levels. There are levels like with everything. And if it goes deep into my soul, my ancient soul knowledge, I could get tingles along the back, chill up the spine. You could get goosebumps. Some people feel a constriction for negative and more openness for positive in their body. Some people see visions. I can see that, You see And when I say visions, you just see an image in your mind's eye. You see an image. That's a vision. That's part of the demystifying. All of this is within reach. All of it is within reach because you are a spirit. You are a soul being within a human body. You have it all. You came here whole. And then our humanness layered stuff on you, pushed it down, distanced us. But, you know, this is the point of my upcoming course, is we don't want to do that to kids anymore. They're coming for a reason. Just like you came at a certain time, and I came. I didn't know I was going to be this age at this transformation. That's kind of cool. I'm entering my elder years at this time. That's kind of neat. I could have been 30. I could have been a mother, young mother. I could have been a teenager, you know. But everybody, every soul has chosen when to arrive. And you have chosen to be here now, at the age you are, with all the life experiences that you have to offer, to live from, and to reconnect with your original wholeness so that you can offer to others. Everything we do as adults, everything we do, kids see. We are modeling for children. So that's kind of a great thing. That's a great collaboration. So try the breath work if you haven't already. Try, you know, mess around with it. Make it your own. Do something, you know, really sit and listen. And you can ask specific questions. See what you hear. See what you see. Whatever it is, it's real. Don't forget, part of being a spirit being in a human form is you're dealing with the seen and the unseen. But the human form, the human society, constructed for its own purposes to distance us from our soul beings. And so the unseen world has been layered almost in taboo, removed from us. And some of it through religion, for sure. So, and, you know, like I said, we'll talk about that. I'm not down on religions. I used to teach religion, and I loved it. That was one of the specialties I had, was integrating art and religion, world religions, with kids. It was amazing. What a privilege. But that's for another Facebook Live. My point is you're dealing with the seen and the unseen. With every seen thing, experience that you have, there's unseen implications, lessons, or teachings to be shared, learned, and shared. So that's a good transition into boundaries, because much of our boundaries are unseen. Although we have seen ones, I'm just going to cover a couple of categories, a couple of boundary categories as I see it. One definitely is physical, but physical is also, it's physical / energy / energetic. We want to be physically safe, for sure. That's where the more you hone your, and I'm doing this, your inner knowledge, your inner wisdom, your inner voice, your gut will tell you what is safe, what is not safe. If you get a twinge of it, you need to pay attention to it. Because it's when we don't pay attention to those premonitions, if you want to call them, they're really just the voice again. I'm going to call it the voice, the life voice, speaking through you, to your human self, saying, that might not be a good idea. He's not really a safe person. Your body's in jeopardy here. You need to listen. Because when you don't, it comes true. Whatever it is the warning was, the reality shows up. So that does bring us right up against energy as well, which is why I make it body or physical / energy, because we are all energetic beings. Every living thing emits energy. Every sentient being emits energy, but it's the unseen world, mostly. Sometimes you can see it, most of the time you don't, because we've been trained not to. Some people can see the energetic field, the auras of people. I've only experienced it a couple of times, and it's really pretty cool. But for the most part, we've been trained not to acknowledge that. But just think back in religion, if you will. Think back to all the saints portrayed with halos. What's that? Think back to all the statuary. I grew up in the Catholic Church, and all the statuary, which I love. I love icons, religious icons. You know, I just love all that stuff. I collect some of it. But much of the statuary, the image of whoever, is standing there with their palms open. I'm just going to raise them up so you can see. They stand there, palms open. What are they doing? It didn't click on me until I was in Peru with a friend of mine, a Peruvian, in Machu Picchu, and his brother was a shaman. And we were taking photos. Great, so that's what we're doing, taking photos. But the two of them stood there, and I didn't see it until after we were done. Both of them stand there with their palms out. They're emitting their own energy. They're radiating their energy out through the palms of their hands. Now we can get into Reiki energy too, but we don't have time for all that. But it's transferring out. And that's what all the old beings, the old humans did in the mystical times of the Bible, before the Bible, and then enter religion. Oh, we're heading in for a good talk. But think about it. Your energetic field can be seen. Most of the time it's not, but it's felt. That's the sixth sense of feeling, of perception. It's felt. So physically, your energetic field can range anywhere from 4 to 6, sometimes 9 feet around you. You walk in that light. It is emitted from you. Most of us don't see it, but you do feel it. So if you're in a conversation with somebody and you're standing relative distance, this is one good thing about COVID, keeps us at 6 feet. It's a little protection in there. But I know we don't like it. Just looking for the sunshine. But if you're in a conversation with somebody and all of a sudden it turns from, just a regular pleasantries conversation, and it turns into like a real unloading, a real rant and rave unloading of all this negative stuff that, doesn't have anything to do with you, is not yours. Back up. Back up. Take space. Because their energetic field, if you are too close, their energetic field is mixing with yours, is entering yours. And as a sensitive, you can take it on. You can take it on, and it brings you down in your own vibrational frequency. We all have different frequencies at which we vibrate, because every vibration does. But it can harm you. So you need to be aware of it. Everything I'm talking about, and will be talking about, and will be teaching the kids, is heightening your level of awareness. And I say heightening your level of awareness through a deepening of your inner experience. Yeah, that's the way I want to say it. Because we need to spend more time inside. Outside is falling apart. Outside is chaotic. Outside is noisy, outside is distracting. It's necessary because we're in human form, but we're also spiritual beings. We are soul beings housed in this body, and we need to feed that. We need to pay attention to that because it hasn't been embedded in our society. In fact, the opposite is true. Our society, whoever, and I don't know the originating point, I have my suspicions, but our society has worked tirelessly for hundreds and thousands of years to disempower, disconnect, and disenfranchise us from our original source. So, in a conversation with somebody, they're going on and on about something and it really has nothing to do with me. And it's all negative. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Oh boy, hang on. Might be 3. Nope, it's only 2. Yay for me. Oh no, here it comes. I feel like another one's coming. Okay, so whatever it is that they're going through is not yours. It is not yours. And you need to disallow it from entering your energetic field. So backing up, creating a distance, and you can also, this is a real simple but effective way of doing things, is you can also envision a beautiful light around yourself. It could be white, it could be gold, it could be blue, it doesn't matter, it's your own. But you envision that like a protective bubble. But it's protecting your energy field and disallowing negative energies, lower frequency energies from entering your field. It's a very simple yet very powerful practice. It is. And it takes a level of awareness that, you know, you can find yourself. I'll tell you the truth. A lot of this stuff, a lot of this intrusion into your energetic field and some of the relationship boundaries that I'll talk to in a minute are breached by those that are closest to you. Why? Because they're closest to you. Sad but true. So you don't want to say to your son, oh, you've got bad energy. I'm going to just go away from you. I'm going to step back. But if your son is hurting and spewing, you know, all this negative stuff that has hurt him, you're going to want to shield yourself. You can comfort him. Of course you would. You would comfort him. But you can also, at the same time, remind yourself, put up a shield. Put up a shield that keeps you safe. I'll tell you the truth, I actually do it all the time when I'm out walking or riding my bike for protection. If you're riding your bike down the road, you're on the same side of the street as the car is coming. They're coming from behind you. And I can hear them come, but when they come, or as they're approaching, I envision myself. I can see myself riding down the road with this white light, in my case, around me. And I just am consciously aware that I am in a sacred space and that car is going to come and go past, but it's not going to enter my sacred space. It's simple like that. Now you can say, a lot of people would say, oh my God, listen to her. But in the quiet of your days, try it. Because it's your inner life. We've been disengaged from our inner lives. We've been told, you know, in the last couple of years, this is the first time I've heard people talking about tree huggers without a sarcastic and condemning tone. That to hug a tree is kind of becoming okay. Oh, good for us. We're kind of becoming okay. Well, it's always been okay. It's always been okay to love a tree. I digress. So, Your energetic field, let me just check my little notes here again, make sure I got what I wanted to say there. Oh, I didn't even write it down. Wow. The other avenue is relational, as I was just starting to say, relationships. Relationships are tricky for boundaries. Oh, so tricky. And usually are breached by those that are closest to us, for sure. Because many of us, our society constructed expectations of our relationships, especially when it comes to mothers. If you're around my age group and even younger, you know, the expectation, the sacrificial expectation of motherhood or parenthood or caretaker is sacrificial, almost to the point of martyrdom. How many of you have felt that? Let me see. You know what I'm talking about. Write a comment. So you can love your family. You need to love your family. But you cannot give all your power away to your family. You can't let them take your power. If you offer it, they'll take it. If you offer it to anybody, they'll take it. That's the truth. And don't forget, if you are a beautiful light, soul light, darkness is attracted to light, just like a flame to a moth. No, a moth to a flame. They are attracted to light. And that brings us to the idea of narcissism. We may have them in our families. We may have them in our very close relationships. We may not even know to call it that. But if they take more than they give, they are parasites or living in a parasitic phase until you put up your boundaries. Some will never get there. Some are fatal narcissists. That is who they are. They are in it for them and them alone. They don't think beyond themselves, and they actually manipulate relationships to serve themselves. And they actually work to diminish others so that they can be more full. It's a dangerous relation. It's a dangerous relation. So we have to be super careful there, really. My mother used to always say, the older, the bolder. And I always liked that. And I didn't take it to mean like when you get older, you wear big jewelry and brighter clothes and, you know, just stand out physically. I took it to mean your stance in life, to become bolder or more determined by your soul or your inner life, your wantings, likes and dislikes of your inner life, so that you can say, no, I'm sorry, I don't have time to do that. I would like to be able to help, but I do not have time to do that. No, I'm sorry, I can't take on that load. Somebody else will. Somebody else always will. The people-pleasing part, that's another avenue of relationship where, again, a lot of it's been put on women. It's just a fact. But the people-pleasing, it also comes from wounds, too. If you feel like you're less than for some reason, for whatever reason, being a sensitive or having a gift that is misunderstood or not welcome, then a human's instinct is to be loved, is to love and be loved. We all want to belong. But if you're not accepted with that gift, if your offering hasn't been accepted, it's probably sending a signal to you that you probably shouldn't offer that again. Not in that way. The wisdom you wanted to share? No, maybe find another way, or maybe just go quiet. Maybe that's what you do. Maybe don't shine so brightly. Maybe don't stand out as much. If you're beautiful and you have gifts, maybe you shouldn't be that beautiful. Not that you had anything to do with it. But maybe you just shouldn't shine as brightly as your soul is meant to shine. The reason your soul came to this earth was to shine. But human experience says, I don't like it when your soul shines so brightly. It makes mine look dim. And that's just bull. That's just bull. I believe we all have gifts. We all arrive here on planet Earth whole. And then we are all subject to the human experience that diminishes us and quantifies us in a way, puts us in a hierarchy that is nonsensical at best. But that's the challenge. That is the challenge of living as a whole soul into your soul's purpose here on planet Earth in your human form with all the constructs. Tricky business. I don't know who thought up this game, but boy, oh boy, what a game. What a game. Anyway, that's pretty much, I'd like to hear what you have to say. If any of these things resonate with you, any of these means of giving your power away or diminishing your light or being a people pleaser or somebody stepping into your field and just dumping on you, taking you down, let me see in the comments if that's anything that makes sense to you. Yes. So this is the kind of things that we're going to be offering to kids. I don't speak down to kids, yet I don't bang them over the head with things that are hard to hear. I speak straight to kids because kids are fascinating. They're fascinating because they're so close to source. For somebody like me who's more than 60 years away from my original source, I can look back and I can see through the kids I work with. It's the inner child. That's why we call it that, because it's so beautifully simple and clear and channeled. It's full of wisdom, enthusiasm, curiosity, and teachings. So our course is going to help children live into every gift that they have. Live into the knowledge that they are a beautiful, divine being with this human experience. And to honor that, to celebrate that, but also to give them tools. Oh, here's one more. I forgot this. Here's another boundary. This is a new one. I didn't experience this as a kid because it didn't exist. Internet. Ironically, as I am sitting here speaking to you over the internet, I would like to issue a caution over it. Sensitive kids, magnetic field, it can be physical. It comes through physically, a burning, a static, irritation of sorts. But more than that, for yourself too. If you belong to a group on Facebook, if you've joined a class and they have live presentations and, the numbers are high, you're entering the collective energy field of all these people from so many different life experiences on this planet. It's a brewing pot of energy. And if you're not aware and you don't enter it with that level of self-awareness, it can take you down. And by take you down, I mean it lowers your energy frequency. It lowers your vibration. And it makes you a little foggy. Can't see clearly as to whatever it was you were doing, your plan, your goals, you don't know quite how to move. Sometimes it can take you physically down. I've had that happen with serious things that, oh my God, I've been physically sick because somebody entered my field and it was very, life and death kind of stuff. But I've also been taken down by joining Facebook groups in courses. First one happened probably 10 years ago, and it caused me to lose my balance, lose my view, lose my vision of things. Just kind of clouded me over. But it can happen for sure. It's not to say don't go in. Sometimes you can watch the replays instead of going to the lives. I've started doing that because it just happened again at a different level. And so I'm going to choose to go into the replays. You still get the collective energy, but it's not quite as strong as when it's live, when it's really flowing from all these different places. So that's another one. That's a really, really important one for the times we're living in as we are going online. This is another duality. We're living in the physical world, but we're also operating in the ethers in another dimension that wasn't available to us many years ago. I mean, many years ago. I'm still here. Right? So, try out some of the practice of or even just the awarenesses of people's energy. Is it yours? No. Should you take it on? No. Is it trying to diminish your light? Maybe. What kind of boundaries can you construct around that? Because it's all part of your self-care, which is becoming, like everything especially in the United States, we get buzzwords. And as we're going through this transformational process, we have all kinds of buzzwords. I like to back up from some of them. Self-care is important, but it's self-awareness. It's self-serving. Self-serving, when I was a kid, was bad news. That was selfish. Don't be selfish. But I'm a big believer in the oxygen mask practice. And mothers, I remember as a mother being on a plane, young mother, I was never a really young mother, but being on a plane and, the attendant did their bit with the oxygen mask. And they said, if you're taking care of a child, you take the oxygen first. And I thought with my all in everything about the child sacrificing motherhood mode, I thought, wow, that's wrong. Oh, I would take care of my child. Oh, but no. No. You can't do anything for anybody if you are less than whole. Get that clear, women. You can't do anything for anybody of any value if you are less than whole. And the same is true for teachers, not just in the schools, but I mean particularly online or in any self-growth or personal development. If you haven't healed the wounds that you need to heal, don't go talking about them. Don't go talking about them, because a lot of times you are teaching from those very wounds. You're passing it on. It's fascinating. It's fascinating, this life we've been given. How to walk between the seen and the unseen, the spiritual and the physical. It's really, again, whoever thought this up? Amazing. So that's my bit for today. I would love to hear any other comments that you have. Please reach out to me if you like this, if any of this resonates with you, and or if you are interested in doing a Zoom. I'm thinking next week would be a fun one to do, or a helpful one to do, really. A year anniversary of the pandemic. Powerful stuff we're living through. And to not acknowledge it is just silly. It's just a perpetuation of the old ways. It's not that important. It's highly important. It's pivotal to life on planet Earth. So, let me know. Write a comment, message me, send me your email so I can keep you on the list for things. And I thank you for coming. It's great sharing this time with you, and I appreciate it. Be well. Take good care of yourselves. Bye-bye.